Okay, silver aficionados, after I prove my Illuminati heritage, yeah, how. Not really sure about that deal, man. That's always got me curious. If you look at my last video, Illuminati heritage by the numbers. Not sure, man. It's too mind blowing for me to believe it, although the facts seem to be there, but whatever. Um, just want to give you a little bit of a laid back type update, like old girl here sitting on a motor scooter. And actually, I want to tell you one thing. I think the gas prices are going to be going up, so look into scooters, look into motorized bicycles, motorcycles, that type of stuff. Probably going to have a little video out here about doing some motorcycle work pretty soon here, maybe today, if the rain stops. But yeah, I don't want to put out some doom and gloom. I'm going to put a question like I think on the title of this video. I'm going to say hopefully not, but I hate to freaking say it, man, because I don't like being a bearer of bad news, man. I'm not. That's not really what the deal is, but I see reality. We're probably, first off, Russia's going broke, right? And I can tell you right now, this is all related to the metals. I mean, Russia's going broke because of depressed oil prices, depressed commodity prices, and it's probably estimated by mid 2017 that they're really going to be a hurt locker. Um, Honestly, I look. I know for you people out there that love Vladimir Putin, I'm not really against him. I know he's against the New World Order and the Rothschild Western New World Order and all that garbage, if you want to put it that way. Um, but he's all for the Russian version of the New World Order, okay? But my opinion is that we should really work hand in hand with Russia to get rid of the enemies that are destabilizing the world. Here's a Russian chick. I can get along with her, no problem. I know she's probably not that effective in combat with all that makeup and stuff she's got on there. You know how the deal is. It's all for show, but hey, she knows more than cooking and cleaning. She can fire a weapon. So anyway, um, but I realize, I mean, it's not like I hate Putin, okay? I mean, I've put stuff out against him, but it's really against those people that worship him. I don't worship the ground he walks on or nothing like that, but I can tell you that he's actually somebody that is a powerful force that we can work with hand in hand. And I think the United States and Russia need to be more on equal footing, not freaking putting Russia down, because I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to bust them, right? They're trying to bust them with the oil prices. The oil prices are starting to creep up. Saudi can't freaking hold together doing this garbage. It's not just all about the shale oil industry that was competing with Saudi, for the shale oil industry from the United States. It's, we pretty much own that Saudi family one way or the other. Although I think the Saudi family owns Obama, but he's out the door. But you see what I'm saying? It has been a plot to bust Russia. That's how they busted Russia back the Soviet Union back in the late 80s over the oil prices. I don't think they'll be able to do it, though. But they're playing a dangerous game. They might be trying to actually deliberately get them into conflict with the West. It sure looks that way. I mean, I don't know why NATO's advancing all their bases around their border and stuff. It's freaking ridiculous, man. But, for us freedom riders here in the West, we just got to hang back and stay loose. Now, I've been putting a lot of stuff out about a lot of different subjects on my channel, and not only health. I kind of have a lot of videos on health, but lately I've been getting on a knife kick and stuff. I'm going to tell you right now, you want to not just buy only silver coins. Sure, it's cool to buy them, and it's good to know what's going to happen. Now, I predicted $50 in barrel oil on a WTI for the end of this year. Well, that looked right. I also predicted hopefully $20 an ounce for silver. That doesn't look right. But then it's not the end of the year yet. Maybe it'll be 18 something, maybe even 19. I think it's going to creep up because usually when oil takes off a little like that, a lot of times gold and silver follows. It's still not the end of the year yet. But I think silver, by the time we get into 2017 first quarter, I think by the end of the first quarter it might be around 24, which would be a big jump. Doesn't look that good for right now, but what I'm looking at is more tensions in the world. Gold goes up, oil goes up, silver starts going up. Silver just goes up erratically. That's the problem. It doesn't really correlate with gold that much. It does somewhat. It doesn't correlate with oil at all unless when oil goes in an extreme bull run. Um, I think oil would go in an extreme bull run if the United States took over Russia after it fell apart, because then we'd own it. But I don't want that to happen, see? I'm not for that. I'm like a laid back America. I think our enemy is this. Jihad is our way. The United States and Russia needs to get together and fight Islam, radical Islam. Now, not against all Islam, but radical Islam. It's a political movement. It's not a freaking religious movement. Now, what I see coming up in the world is massive more tensions because, it's good that the Hilda Beast didn't make it in because she would have had another 750,000 radical Muslims in here, which already there's a whole bunch of camps going on in the United States, I think in Alaska, California, Georgia, North Carolina, Tennessee, I think Michigan, New York State. I don't know, there's a couple other ones. Getting ready to fight for the end of the world. Well, all these political things have a lot to do with why gold would go up. And if gold goes up, silver goes up. hmm That's exactly how it works. It's not just off the graphs. It's like, the graphs tell you one thing with market psychology, but, like you can relate things where people had everything down to a science before World War I and they were making a lot of money. And all of a sudden World War I came about and they didn't have computers back then, but all their mathematical formulas to predict the markets went out the door. So a lot of times it's better if you can predict big events, you can predict what's going to happen. And I think some of the big events are not going to be very fortunate that are becoming our way. But here's the USA over here fighting radical Islam, and that's what I think we in Russia ought to be doing as partners. I put a video out about Russia and the United States should unite. Now, I don't think the elite should unite. I think the people should unite. The real Slavic Russians who live in Russia, they ought to be freaking armed with AK-47s to the teeth, man, all the way, just like the Americans. And we can work together fine. And we all need to have the Bill of Rights like we have enshrined in the Constitution, with a lot of regional autonomy. Decentralized, whatever the hell it is, for united, the central power should be very loosely controlling anything. That's really the deal. That's the way I look at it. Then we would be peace. I don't think it's coming that way, though. I hate to say that. I sure wish it wasn't going to be that way, but I think, I don't think it's always the powers that be are pushing us into World War III. It's almost like a Ouija board. One side thinks they're doing something, the other side thinks they're doing something, and it's being guided by evil forces that are beyond the control of people. That's probably what the hell's really going on, man. Now, one of the guys that could really do a lot against the evil in the world is this guy, but except he's a wimp. Now, I'm Catholic, so I'll tell you this Pope is a wimp and a half, man. It's big time. Washing Muslim feet and stuff like that. I was like, yo, you are out of it. But I could still say one thing. The Catholic Church is still heavily invested in Pietro Beretta firearms. And if we get the right Pope in here and just give the word, he'll say attack. So, I mean, that's one way of looking at it because, for all the problems we have in the world, and I'll show the Pope here. Say, for instance, you look at, what happened to Detroit, Michigan. All fell apart and everything. But you know what? It's like if everybody just got an attitude adjustment immediately, without having any money, thrown into the system, they started acting personable to other people. They started just, picking up crap that's on the street or just fixing things the best they can, even if it didn't cost them any money, or maybe it cost them $10 here and there with a can of paint. I'll guarantee you Detroit would turn around inside of a matter of days without the government getting involved. That's not the case. But that's why a lot of times you need that spirituality and people understanding we're all on the freaking same boat here called planet Earth, and we need to all work together. When I'm talking about radical Islam, these guys are like, make American women that are just sex slaves to them and like get out of here, man. That's not religion. That's some other deal. I don't know what that is. It's guised as, it's packaged as a religion. But when you're talking about that type of stuff, it's like Islam means different things to different people. It's like not everybody's thinking that way. But if Russia and the United States have a common enemy, it is radical Islam. We got to get together on this, but I don't think this is going to happen. Maybe it might happen with Trump more so. I don't know. But he's got a lot of hardliners he's picking in there that are anti-Russian. And, for you people that listen to me for a long time, I know there's stuff going on in Russia that's screwed up. They're not like, oh, we're just riding a white horse and trying to save the world. No, they're looking for the New World Order on their terms. Right now, that looks like really impossible because they're really kind of taking a hurt locker in the financial market. But the thing is, their military is way smarter than ours the way they're freaking doing stuff. I mean, a lot of their military, and they got more nukes than we got too, man. They got their stuff together military-wise, and if you want to see an economy crash real fast, especially in the United States, man, just do one little thing in the country someplace that makes 911 look like a mosquito bite, and that'll be the end of it, because it's all psychological. Everybody today is like too busy sticking their nose in their iPhone looking at the latest app or some crap, It's like nonsense all the way. So, you're still going to see a lot of videos. I'm going to put out several videos today, to tell you the truth, I think, of just about some, products. Not that I selling this stuff, but stuff I think is important to have, right? Because you don't want to go all silver. But silver, like I said, you definitely, if you got no silver, you're crazy not to get some, because it's just for the medicinal benefits. Just for that only. Just for all that only. So, and if people really catch on about the medicinal benefits, the price of silver is going to go way the hell up. There's not enough around it for people even to have a quarter ounce each in a world, and you need a couple silver rods to make colloidal silver and ionic silver. And whether you think it's the best in the world or it just helps somewhat, no matter how you look at it, it's a very powerful antimicrobial that can work to disinfect anything topically, or whether it's cloth, if you're making a bandage or something, you put in it helps heal by helping the body produce their own stem cells, which is the ionic silver. So just kick back on this deal and kick back on your bike, old girl here, because I think if we got this big collapse coming up, it's just not, if people, see people back in the 30s, 40s, even the 50s, they know how to grow their own food. They had their own tools. I don't know how to grow my own food, really, but I have my own tools. I know how to do everything else. I could do plumbing work, I could do electrical work, I could do lumberjack stuff, I could do car work. I can even weld a little bit. I can do a lot of junk, right? And if I don't know how to do it, I figure it out. As far as food, I could shoot. There's always a critter out there someplace. These damn possums all over the place eating my cat food. So, it's like, I don't feel like I'm in big danger if there's a big collapse. I mean, see, there is. I'm going to survive. I don't care. But I ain't going to worry about everybody else in the world. But what we really got to worry about is radical Islam. Because, well, right now with Trump in, if you look at this map, like, the darker areas are higher percentages of Muslim. And, USA, you got like, freaking hardly. Canada's got quite a bit. France, yeah, forget it, man. France, Russia. See, Russia's got a problem, man. They got about, I think they got like 35% Muslims in their army. And, Putin's got a problem there, man. But that's why I think we ought to get together with this guy. Putin, I kind of like you in a way. I mean, I'm not. See, I don't like the jerks that worship this guy and say he's anti-New World Order. He's not. He's Russian. He's pro-Russian New World Order. You watch it on his terms, man. He's not out to save the planet. He's out there to, you know what I mean. He's got his own goals, man. He just don't have the financial power to carry him out. But as we go down a straightaway on this deal, I think 2017. is going to be a major year of problems in the markets, and they're staving off a lot of this situation because they wanted the incumbent party to win. But they're still going to work with Trump, no problem, man. He's an insider. I wish this guy wouldn't choose all these hardliners, man. That pisses me the hell off. Um, one guy I wish he would pick for something, like if I was going to pick somebody for Secretary of State, you know what I would pick? Jim Webb, the guy that was Secretary of Navy. He was Secretary of Navy when I was in the Jarheads. Um, he's a senator from Virginia, a Harvard fellow, highly decorated Vietnam veteran with Silver Star. Um, and I don't know what else. He's got Purple Hearts. I forgot. He's got a lot of medals. He knows about war. And see, you want a guy in there that's Secretary of State that understands about war. He knows about politics. He's been a senator. He's a Harvard fellow. He knows about military strategy. I think he'd be a great Secretary of State to deal with Vladimir Putin. Jim Webb. And he's a Democrat. He's a Democrat. But he's not. He's like the opposite of Hillary Clinton. John Kerry and Obama. He's a great Democrat. Jim Webb. Jim Webb. I wish, I got to put that in here. But, what's coming up where you're going to probably see markets. Markets are going up, man. I'm like, holy smokes. But I kind of figured they'd be going up till at least the election. And then there's going to be some, like Trump even alluded to, like when he was running for office, that, I hate to see if there's this big economic crash in the first quarter of the new administration. Well, that might be the case, because then, what's coming up. They're going to be raising interest rates. There's been some really crazy swings in the bond markets, too. And, the debt is now, I think it's $20 trillion. It's another landmark. I mean, it's the same old crap, but it's gotten worse. And it's almost like, you're hearing a rod bearing knock in the engine and it's still running. And the rod didn't go flying through the crankcase yet. Well, it's no problem. It's still running. I just hear a little noise. Well, you know what I mean. That's kind of like what the economy's doing, right? And you just keep running and keep running. We're not really going out there and pulling the engine down and putting a new bearing in there or something, or miking the crankshaft journal and milling it, machining it down to the next size and put a 20 over bearing, right? Well, we're not doing that. We're just running it. And Trump's not going to be able to just go in there immediately and change stuff. So, I don't know. But as far as like the Muslims coming in this country, I'm going to tell you one thing. If I was Trump, and I know it's not exactly about silver, but what the hell? If I was Trump, this is what I would do. Because I think outside the box. He thinks outside the box. I don't even know if this guy's going to be that bad or that good, because he's so much. He's like, the more I'm like watching this guy, the more he's like people I've known in business, man. You don't really know what they could flip on a dime, man. Just boop, and that's kind of what Trump is, because he's been consistent with America first. So I know he canceled the Air Force One from Boeing because he said it's too expensive. I was like, that's cool. That's cool. You did a good job there. But, he's taking a lot of heat for not allowing Muslims in. You know what he ought to do? He ought to allow the Muslim trannies in. Transsexuals like this one here. Somebody that looks like female, like really female. Just let them in. Because, these kind of Muslims aren't going to be causing problems. Muslim tranny is not going to be out there like, oh, I hate the Western world. They must love the Western world because they got freedom to do what they want. They could be trannies and have all the fun. They go to clubs and get drunk and have sex and whatever they want to do, right? And, that would appease those liberals that got all bent out of shape about, you're not letting the Muslims in. And whatever. So that's what I would do. But I'd be watching everybody else that was, one of these real religious fanatics. But, a Muslim tranny is not a religious fanatic, right? That's the way I do it. I don't know, people get mad at me for that, but whatever. That's the way I do it, man. I mean, I don't give a damn. Actually, with Obama, he was married to one. Now, Obama was married to one that looked like a dude. He should have been married to one that looked like this, who looked like a chick. Because I don't know what's the matter with you, Obama. You get your head straight on when you took this picture. But anyway, let me just say that, if everything comes down whatever, like, these doom and gloomers are saying. First off, anybody that's doing on a silver channel that's wearing a tie. Now, I used to wear ties when I was going to prep school, when I was going doing accounting in the CPA firms, when I was in doing accounting as like controller, and yeah, I used to wear a tie a lot, but I don't do that anymore. I'm really talking to you like nice and plain, and I would not even be able to talk this way to my clients. I mean, I might talk a little bit with my normal New Jersey accent, but I'd have to talk far more professional, right? I'm talking to you guys. Now, what I'm saying though is that anybody with a tie that's telling you that the markets are doing this and doom and gloom and shit, they don't even know how to pick up a wrench. First off, if you really think there's going to be doom and gloom in the end and all this kind of crap, you ought to be learning real skills, practical skills. How to wire something up to make it work with solar panels, how to dig a well, for crying out loud, and pump up water from the ground, how to catch rainwater, purify it, and then pump it into your house or something, right? Something like that. But no, we're going to talk about the markets. Well, that's great, buddy. I'm going to tell you actually another investment. I'm going to be putting out more videos. You see some videos I put out about knives and Bowie knives and K-bars and stuff. That's not a bad investment. I'll tell you one thing, all this technology in the world, I mean, I got so much crap from yesteryear when I used to buy the latest, greatest Microsoft or Apple software or stuff from, I don't know what the hell was the other thing, Lotus 123 was way back when that was really hot, before Cell got hot. I used to buy all that stuff, and I look at it now, it's a pile of junk. And I got stuff like from my old-timer made in the USA fold-out pocket knife, which is a big one, the Buffalo Skinner made in Germany, and a K-bar Hunter. They're still good from, over 40 years ago. You might want to invest in some of that stuff. I'm going to be doing some reviews on stuff that are like middle-quality knives or really good deals. You might want to invest in some tools. If you can't buy USA, go to Harbor Freight, whatever the hell. I mean, they're not that bad, That kind of stuff is going to actually do you a lot more good than technology. Technology is good for like what we're doing here on YouTube, exchange of information, how to do things. A lot of my updates on silver are more psychological updates. I'm telling you the reality situation. There's there's bad stuff coming up, man. But if people are smart, okay, the world is not like going to be like 2017 when it happens. Maybe it's going to be like 1947 or 1957, right? Maybe we're going to go back to that time. People survived fine. Maybe the cash register's got to work with cash and whatever, and maybe you got to trade in silver coins for food. Fine. But old school technology works. Like a hammock is just as good with a tent over it. There's actually a lot of stuff on my channel about practical stuff. Even if you're setting up a shelter and are using tarps, and tarps break down after a while with the UV, even though they're traded for UV and sunlight, you paint them. You paint them with a high quality paint. You paint them with a high quality paint every several years, and guess what? It lasts indefinitely because the coating on a tarp doesn't wear away, and the fibers that are underneath it don't don't break down from the UV sunlight, right? You don't want to invest all in silver. As far as where silver is going to be, it really is anybody's guess. But what I can tell you, obviously, that oil prices are creeping up again. That might save Russia. That might save them from going broke. But if they keep staying down this low, they're still like too low for them to keep up with, their payments to everything you have to do to run the country. It's also causing Saudi Arabia to go broke. We also are starting to get a lot more tensions with China due to Trump being in office. So we got tensions with Russia, we got tensions with China. Saudi Arabia's going broke. They're kind of freaking saying the hell with the United States. We're going to go deal with somebody else. And I have to tell you that I think that that's all foreboding a new bad turn of events. Um, and I wish I was in charge of this deal because I'm very disappointed in some of the stuff Trump's already been doing, taking some of these hardliners. I would take that guy Jim Webb or anybody who thinks like him, and have him run some of the most important positions in our world that dictate our strategic policies, especially with Russia. I think we need to get along with Russia really good. I know Russia today is a mouthpiece of the Russian government and all that crap. I'm not stupid, okay? And I know that Russia's been planning for world domination for many, many, many years. Yeah, I know that. Well, ain't nothing really wrong with world domination, to tell you the truth, as long as it's done in a good way. It's like, you don't want the heavy-handed, authoritarian central government out there. In other words, when there was world domination, like under the Roman Empire, they pretty much, when it was running right, not later on, but when it was running right, they pretty much left the regions to their own affairs, right? As long as they paid their taxes, you know. In the case of Israel, they didn't do right with them. With Judea, they didn't do right with them. But it looked like Julian in 360, Julian later, a few centuries later, 2 centuries later, 200 years later, to 300 years later, excuse me, was going to do right and make up for what happened to Judea, but he was killed in battle fighting the Parthians. So, changed policies would have been great. Actually, to tell you the truth, I am very, 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 very pro-Israel, more so than a Jew is, but most Jews anyway. You don't like that? Too bad. I'm gonna tell you this: I don't blatantly just buy into Israel. I worship the ground you walk on. I'm gonna tell you that I just see plain logic behind it, not just because something that's written out of the Bible. There isn't that many Jews in the world. People think they're doing this and doing that. It's bullshit, man. And you know what? If you look at what everybody else is doing, whatever Jew is doing something wrong, you look at everybody else is doing, they're doing the hell. There's a lot of people doing way more wrong than them. I guarantee you that right now. I mean, Jews aren't flawless. But that's another common conspiracy thing that's on the YouTube. And I'm like totally freaking sick of it, to tell you the truth. Well, you know what? I'm blatantly pro-Israel. I don't give a damn. And you think that's helping me out? No, it ain't. No, it ain't. It's making me in with the people that are on the raw end of the deal. That's what it's making me. It's not making me in with something like, oh, I'm going to get something. No. Because, you people think that all the time. What happens, the reality is, Jews get the wrong end of the deal. Am I going to be Jewish? Probably not. Not just because of Fatima, but I think I do more as an outsider than an insider. Because if I was an insider, assholes would be saying, you're Jewish. And I'm like, well, as a non-Jew, I could say a hell of a lot more. You know what I mean? That's probably why I'm not going to be Jewish. Because as a non-Jew, I could say a hell of a lot more than they could say. So I can tell you right now, I'm just going to add this, all the conspiracies out there. I'll tell you one thing. Some of the biggest conspiracies out there is, here's a fact for you. The federal government, the FBI, and the CIA, they're anti-Semitic. Big time. Big time. Yeah, I know Israel's got their angle and they get in there, but it's all off of hard work and shrewdness. It's not because these guys in the CIA and the FBI want to help Israel. No, 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 not at all. Not in the least. Not in the least. So I'll say that as an outsider. But one of the things that's going to be the biggest, you don't want to believe this, fine, I don't care. One of the things that's going to be the biggest stumbling block to the evil New World Order, the one that's it's predicted in the Bible and all that, is going to be Israel. Israel is standing against that crap. I know there's conspiracies. I put stuff out about, how there were some Jews initially involved in communism because they thought it was a nice change from the crap that was happening under the czars, where they're getting slaughtered piecemeal. Well, I'm going to tell you honestly, you know, after communism took root, it went right against the Jews, man. Poor Jews were exiting Russia left and right to go to Israel to get the hell escape them. I think we got some bad times coming up, and I don't want people blaming Jews for the bad times. Think, dummies. Think beyond your noses and think beyond some crap that's published on these airwaves sometimes, because most of it has been rehashed propaganda 50 million times over. But I can tell you one thing. My weapons are aimed at anti-Semites, and that includes especially radical Islam. And that's why I think Russia and the United States ought to get together. And if we get together with Russia and the United States, we all get together well, and we work together well, all's going to be well in the world. Everything's going to be fine. But, I can see already with Trump, and I know with Hillary it would have been even worse, but Trump's already choosing these hardliners, which, to me, is going to be more tensions in the world, which means gold's going to go way the hell up. More tensions, once the powder keg goes off in the Middle East, oil's going to go way up, and then silver's going to go way up. But the United States might not be such a safe and stable place. But it could be if you keep your attitude right. But then again, Detroit could be a safe and stable place if people over there had their attitudes right. But that's usually not the case. That's not the reality situation. So, been long on this, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not a doom and gloomer. I'm a reality person, okay? It's like, I see this coming up. Sorry, man. And I know Russia's not like this big saint out there, but neither are they this big evil. I know this. And it's not like I'm just taking a happy medium. I think I see the reality situation. But we got a problem with radical Islam in the world, and our problem is not with Vladimir Putin in Russia. Our problem is with radical Islam. And radical Islam and the destabilizing influence it has on the world is going to send commodities through the roof, including silver and oil. So, but me putting out these videos is not helping you. Even if if I told you exactly what was going to happen verbatim, exactly, it's still not helping you, because what you got to really know is how to do things hands-on. Hands-on. To talk about it with a suit and tie. All these people that work in an office, they're going to be worm food. I mean, really. That's why I'm no longer doing that stuff, too. I already know what's going to happen with those people. Anyway, over and out. Have a nice day. And we're going to have some more updates on other stuff here after that. Probably been too long on this, but I got to tell you the deal where I stand, man. And it's like, I'm not bullshitting anybody. That's all there is to it. Over and out.